And there is nothing wrong about giving away free content. What are we doing here? We're giving away free content. And even though, there's no way that I can go deep into any of these, these points, and these are only some of the points, right? But the point is, there's nothing wrong with giving away free content as long as you've got a mechanism in place to monetize it down the track. And the thing is that what you've got to do, especially when you're warming up to scale, you've got to move out of your hot and warm market and start to educate the cold market that they've got a problem and they need you. And so you've got to work out where they're at, what the end goal is, design a program at the end goal, but then give them 3 or 4 pieces of good quality, actionable information, give them mini wins along the way, and slowly they will drop their skepticism, the trust in you will rise, and by the time they get to the end, they're going to be more likely to purchase from you. Because the fact of the matter is, the barrier to entry to get online these days is nothing. And there's so many self-professed gurus out there and selling rubbish and that sort of stuff that people are so skeptical, and they've wasted so much time on other programs. So I just want to sort of cover those things. So best practice number 1 is basically what I just said: gain an intimate understanding of your target market. Know what wakes them up in the middle of the night with the cold sweats and shakes. What is really, really important? What is the problem that they need to solve? Another problem with a lot of stuff coming out on the market is that as professionals and people with experience, we know what people need, but people don't know what they don't know. And a lot of people don't know they've got a problem. And so we design programs to meet those needs, but a lot of people don't like to eat their vegetables. And so you're not actually meeting the market where they're at. So you've got to, it's like, I learned this when I was doing my copywriting course. There's something called like a puppy pillow or something like, when you've got to give your dog a tablet, you stick it into this, this yummy thing that the dog likes to eat, and you sort of trick the dog to take the pill that way. And that's basically give them what they want, but also give them what they need along the way. So get a really clear understanding of what they are trying to achieve. Number 2 is that don't try to be all things to all people out of the gate. I look at things like say golf. Golf is a very big, complex game with so many different pieces. Now, you can spend a year to 18 months creating the most comprehensive golf training course in the world and put $10,000 price tag on it, and you might get a couple of people to buy. But if you break golf up into its components, like how to putt, how to drive, how to do this, how to improve that, how to chip and run, and each of those components become a course within itself, and then you then have you've got other products to sell and add on, and some people will buy one part, some people will buy half it, and some people will buy it all, and you actually increase your income, but you're also meeting their direct need at a price point they can understand. Look at what's already out there, what your competitors are doing, and do some research from their feedback, from reviews and that sort of stuff. What do students like? What results are they getting out of these programs? What don't they like? And most importantly, what is missing? And it's what we call gap analysis, is actually look at what's out there, look at what isn't being done very well or at all, fill that gap, as long as that is meeting the market's need. And I think I just said this about the golf: one problem, one solution. One problem, one solution. And that way, and that makes the marketing so much easier, because now you can put your message directly to that problem, directly to that market, raise their emotions, and get them moving forward. And define where your audience is at. That's what I was saying before. Have a clear outcome. So from this program, you will achieve X in X amount of time. Nobody likes the fuzzy, it's going to finish when it finishes, I'm going to keep on doing this. You could keep on doing follow-ups and that sort of stuff, but your program must have a defined outcome and a time frame. And how are you going to deliver that? What sort of frame is going to be? Is it going to be do it yourself? Are you just going to put up a course and let people go at it? Or are you going to do it a done with you, sort of a group coaching type thing, or a one-to-one? And obviously the price point along the way will vary. And I guarantee doing all 3. and then that way, once again, you've always got something to, because there's always going to be a percentage of your audience who want to spend $25,000 with you, right? There's always going to be that group who just want to spend more with you. So let them give you their money, right? A big thing, no matter which way you do your program, is always include access to a community. This is Lisa's forte, because people want to know they're going to get support. And even if you're doing a do-it-yourself, give them access to a community for support and questions. And when we do the summits are all pre-recorded, because I've been in technology for so long. We know that if something's going to crash, it's going to crash and burn. And there's nothing worse than having all these people paid up money, ready to attend, and then the technology crashes, and where's all the presentations? So we always pre-record all the presentations, but there is always a live component. There's a Facebook group. They can come on, and then after the speaker's presentation, the speaker will go on to a live Q&A. So you should always have some level of live interaction with, no matter what sort of program you're doing. And that adds value through the roof. Get feedback, right? How often, and so I've worked with people, and it just drives me insane, saying, "Oh, I've gone and researched this," and people think it's a great idea and it's going to go through the roof, and then they launch it and they hear crickets. They don't even make a sale because mum and dad didn't even buy a copy. And when you ask, where did you do your research? Where do you get the feedback? You said, "Oh, mum, dad, brother, sister, friends." And of course, they're going to say nice things about it, right? They don't want to hurt your feelings. So make sure you're getting feedback on the program from reliable sources. Put it out there, but be careful also about surveying and asking people what they want. Once again, at the college, the college surveyed their students because they want to know whether they wanted to move their part-time course from a night course to a weekend course. So they surveyed people, and everybody came back in the survey saying definitely on the weekend. And so the college went to all the trouble of this happened before I joined them, that they put the whole program together, and 4 people enrolled. It didn't even cover costs, right? So even though people say that's what they want, doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they're going to buy. That's not they're saying, yeah, well, if you've got a choice between chocolate and vanilla, which one are you going to choose? Well, I might choose chocolate, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to buy myself some chocolate ice cream. That's just saying, you've given me 2 choices, I've chosen one. So make sure that you do your due diligence, and make sure that, because once again, you can have a great program, you can be filling a gap and that sort of stuff, but if people aren't going to buy it, if they think they can get the information off YouTube, whatever else, you can go to a lot of time and trouble and end up with something that hasn't really hit the mark. And as we say, it takes just as long and just as much effort to create a program that doesn't work as to a program that does work. So if you do the work, we always say, the Pareto principle, 80-20, and 80% of your time should be actually spent in the research phase, making sure that you're actually hitting the market, delivering what they need, working out price points. All that should be done even before you start your design phase. And then once you've sort of got your stuff, map it out. Like the way that I design stuff is I open up a mind map, and I just spitball ideas, right? So just as soon as an idea comes into my mind, I type it down in no particular order, because the more you get out, the more chance for stuff to come in. And then I look at all that, and then I structure it out. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4. And then I start moving the stuff that I've come up with into each of those categories. And that then forms the structure of what I'm going to produce. And for goodness sake, please make your content engaging and entertaining, right? Ensure that it's something that the students will enjoy and consume. Like JC and I can sort of attest to that. Like sometimes we're given material that we've got to work with, and I say to JC, "Man, can you watch this video because it's putting me to sleep?" And he goes, "Yeah, nah, I can't either." Make people laugh. Like I used to have the head of school come down to my classrooms when I was teaching. It didn't matter how serious. Like I used to teach people how to stick acupuncture needles into people. But when it was safe to do so, I'd also have them laughing, because we know that when people are laughing, they're actually retaining. They retain more information when they're enjoying themselves. So make it entertaining, but relevant as well. There's you don't have to sort of go over the top. Like you don't have to do stand up. And and get your program out to market as soon as possible. Once again, we don't want you to be spending 12 months putting a program together. What I like to do when I'm doing my programs is, firstly, I invite a beta group in, saying, first, I've identified a problem. This is the program I'm doing. I want to invite you in as a beta group. What you get for that is that you're going to get it at a ridiculously low price, but I want your feedback and that sort of stuff. And at the end, I want you to give them a testimonial. And so then what I do is I put them into a group and I create the course while they're taking it. So I create module 1, I put it out there. They consume module 1 as I'm creating module 2. And while they're consuming module 1, they're giving me feedback, they're asking questions. So I may end up doing a bonus video for module 1. But the point is that I've actually got people consuming my content as it's being developed. I'm not waiting, I'm not going all the way through to the end and then putting it out and go, here it is, right? So it's developed in conjunction with people who are consuming it and using it, and they're actually putting the stuff to work. They're getting little wins so that we know that it's actually working, right? Also published to a platform that's easy to use. I know a lot of people like to save costs, and maybe they're not tech savvy, and I appreciate that. A lot of people put courses up into things like Facebook groups, and these days a lot of people don't like Facebook. And if you put the only access to it possible is on a platform that people aren't on, it's not going to work that well. Like I know people who will flat out refuse to open up a Facebook account just to get to a course. So choose a platform that, once again, is easy to use, is clean, and the students can find themselves right, and overall they have a good experience and they get a lot out of it. Be clear, not clever. Use language that resonates, is emotive, and your market understands. So if you're working with a particular group and in that industry has specific terms, of course you're going to use those terms because that's terms that they understand. And when they recognize those terms, they also understand that you know what you're talking about. If you're working with Joe Public, dumb it down to 10th grade level, because we know that, once again, the majority of the population, and this is not insulting, but the majority of the population don't develop their language past early childhood, so to speak. So if you keep it clean and crystal clear, then you've got a better chance to understand. And put it this way, if they're reading through your marketing material and they come across a word or a term that they've got to go away and Google, you've lost them. If they've got to stop and think and go, what do they mean? You've lost them, because you've lost the flow, because you're taking them through a journey. So keep it clear. There's no room to be clever. People don't like to laugh while they're paying out money, right? Automate the product, so automate the process as much as possible. As a matter of scale, look at ways that you can do things from ad to sales page, onto your email list, across to your checkout, into your membership area, and make sure all that's running as automatically and smoothly as possible, so that when you open the floodgates, you're not overwhelmed with a lot of manual work. And that's the other point thing. A lot of people think email is dead. I can tell you now that I made more money and continue to make more money off my email list than any other source outside of my affiliate marketers. I don't know how much. I've never sat down, to be honest with you, and actually calculated out my revenue per lead, but it does better than $1 a month, like a lot of people say. It's still, the statistics are still there that email, out of everything else, social media, whatever, email is still the highest ROI you can get consistently. And lastly, and most importantly, have a referral or affiliate program in place, right? So even when I was in my private practice, I had a referral system, right? I had all these other professionals referring to me. I didn't do any marketing. I didn't have to, because I had everybody sending me clients. I was busy. I was flat out. The same thing here. You can build an army of people to go out and promote for you. So they've all got lists. And as long as their list has the interest that resonates and matches your offer, your marketing is basically done. Then all you do is you support those affiliates with the materials they need, like the emails and the social media